Yes, still good morning. Thank you all so much for your patience. I know it's kind of a big, busy process, but we're very excited to be here, and thank you all for being here. It's a very special day. We love coming every year to the Calvin Coolidge Homestead. It's such a great venue. I've run into people before who've talked about coming to ceremonies here, so it's very special. My name is Shara LeClaire, and I'm the Naturalization Deputy for the U.S. District Court, and this is my favorite part of my job. It's a real joy. It doesn't even feel like a job, honestly. So the court is very excited to be here and celebrate with all of you. This is a celebration, even though court is technically here today. It's the only time in court you're allowed to take pictures and take videos. I guess you could clap and cheer at a court hearing, but most people don't. But you can clap and cheer here and take photos. Please don't feel rushed during the ceremony. There will be plenty of opportunities after the ceremony to take more photos. That being said, we do ask that you turn off your cell phone ringers, notifications. We had a car alarm go off here a couple years ago. That wasn't very fun. So if we can avoid that, that would be great. Something I like to say is each naturalization ceremony is very special in its own way, and you'll kind of notice as you're here today special moments that you'll remember. Last year when the national anthem was being sung, the flag waved when that part of the song came up, and it was almost eerie. It gave me chills. So just try to remember all those really special moments today, and I would encourage you to share your experience with other people today, or other people about the ceremony today, because these are open to the public. A lot of people don't know that, but we do have a schedule on our website, and I would encourage you to let people know. It's a really important thing to witness, and a lot of people don't know it's something that they can do. As most of you have seen, we do have the Passport Agency here today and the League of Women Voters. The Passport Agency is not accepting applications today, but they're here to help answer questions. And the League of Women Voters will be here to help register people to vote. That includes anybody, not just our new citizens. And before we get started, I have one more announcement to make. One of our congressional members of the delegation is celebrating a birthday today, Aileen. So we'd like to say happy birthday. I'll probably get in trouble if we try to sing to you, right? And with that, we'll get started. So, all rise. Hear ye, the United States District Court, for and within the District of Vermont, is now open and ready for the transaction of business. The Honorable Mary Kay Lanthier presiding. Please remain standing as the colors are brought forward and for the national anthem to be performed by Jennifer Harville Coolidge.
Prepare, pose, and salute. 2.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
you know she's the great granddaughter of the president, President Coolidge, Jenny Carville. I'm Amity Schlaze, the chairman of the Calvin Coolidge Presidential Foundation. It's not random that you're here today. We're at the birthplace of a president who thought a great deal about citizenship. He wanted to ensure new arrivals take the path to citizenship. He wanted to see that path open. That president was Calvin Coolidge, who served, just as a reminder, in the 1920s, from 1923 to 1929. Please do take some time to look around this site that is welcoming you on this special day. It's his boyhood home. It is restored and tended for you by the state of Vermont, which wants you to see how earlier citizens lived. Thank you to site director Rejoice Sherry, who's among us, who oversees this magical place. You may notice there are more than 90 high schoolers here.
Wow.
They are the guests of Rejoice Sherry, the state of Vermont, and the Calvin Coolidge Presidential Foundation. We bring them here from across America to learn about Coolidge and citizenship. Thank you for sharing your day with them. It's a big deal for them to see a naturalization. One of the things Coolidge did while he was president was sign a law that made all Native Americans citizens. He drew no class distinctions among Americans. He said no matter, and you'll probably hear this line again today, that's okay, it's a good one, no matter by what various craft we came here, we are in the same boat together when we are here. He went on, if we are to create on this continent a free republic and an enlightened civilization, it will be necessary to regard differences among people as accidental and unessential. We're here together. In a minute, you'll hear the full text of the speech from which these remarks came. But before we start on this very important day, I'd like also to honor those who are making it possible. The first is the Honorable Mary Kay Lanthier, who will preside. Thank you, Shara, who makes it happen. As she said, she's the Naturalization Deputy for the District Court of Vermont. Thank you, U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services, aka USCIS, and Johnny Steinbach, who's right over there. Thank you to all our co-hosts, the people who are providing the cookies and lemonade. And Friendship, the American Legion, League of Women Voters, Colonial Dames. And now I would like to welcome to the stage our Coolidge students, whom we call senators, and they will give a little speech of Calvin Coolidge's, or an excerpt of it. The name of this speech is Toleration and Liberalism. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Tianle Liang from the state of Indiana.
Good morning. My name is Sasser Boja from Hokuston, Delaware.
Hi, I'm Cyrus from the state of California.
Good morning, my name is Luke DePercio and I'm from St. Petersburg, Florida.
My name is Alex Gurr, I'm from New York.
My name is Mary Crosby, I'm from Burlington, Washington.
Today, we will declaim President Calvin Coolidge's speech, Toleration and Liberalism, presented to the American Legion on October 6, 1924. The bringing together of all these different national, racial, religious, and cultural elements has made our country a kind of composite of the rest of the world. And we can render no greater service than by demonstrating the possibility of harmonious cooperation among so many various groups. Every one of them has something characteristic and significant of great value to cast into the common fund of our material, intellectual, and spiritual resources. The war brought a great test of our experiment in amalgamating these varied factors into a real nation, with the ideals and aspirations of a united people. None was accepted from the obligation to serve when the hour of danger struck. The event proved that our theory had been sound. On a solid foundation of a national unity, there had been erected a superstructure, which in its varied parts had offered full opportunity to develop all the range of talents and genius that had gone into its making. Well nigh all the races, religions, and nationalities of the world were represented in the armed forces of this nation as they were in the body of our population. No man's patriotism was impugned or service questioned because of his racial origin, his political opinion, or his religious convictions.
We must not, in times of peace, permit ourselves to lose any part from this structure of patriotic unity. I make no plea for leniency toward those who are criminal or vicious, are open enemies of society, and are not prepared to accept the true standards of our citizenship. By tolerance, I do not mean indifference to evil. I mean respect for different kinds of good. Whether one traces his Americanisms back 3 centuries to the Mayflower or 3 years to the steerage, is not half so important as whether his Americanism of today is real and genuine. No matter by what various crafts we came here, we are all now in the same boat. You men constituted the crew of our ship of state during her passage through their roughest waters. You made up the watch and held the danger posts when the storm was fiercest. You brought her safely and triumphantly into port. Out of that experience, you have learned the lessons of discipline, tolerance, respect for authority, and regard for the basic manhood of your neighbor.
You bore aloft a standard of patriotic conduct and civic integrity to which all could repair. Such a standard, with a like common appeal, must be upheld just as firmly and unitedly now, in time of peace. Among citizens honestly devoted to the maintenance of that standard, there need be small concern about differences of individual opinion in other regards. Granting first the essentials of loyalty to our country and to our fundamental institutions, we may not only overlook, but we may encourage differences of opinion as to other things. For differences of this kind will certainly be elements of strength rather than of weakness. They will give variety to our tastes and our interests. They will broaden our vision, strengthen our understanding, encourage the true humanities, and enrich our whole mode and conception of life. I recognize the full and complete necessity of 100% Americanism, but 100% Americanism may be made of many various elements.
If we are to have that harmony and tranquility, that union of spirit which is the foundation of real national genius and national progress, we must realize that there are true Americans who did not happen to be born in our section of the country, who did not attend our place of religious worship, who are not of our racial stock, or who are not proficient in our language. If we are to create on this continent a free republic and an enlightened civilization that will be capable of reflecting the true greatness and glory of mankind, it will be necessary to regard these differences as accidental and unessential. We shall have to look beyond the outward manifestations of race and creed. Divine providence has not bestowed upon any race a monopoly of patriotism and character.
The same principle that it is necessary to apply to the attitude of mind among our own people is also necessary to apply to the attitude of mind among different nations. During the war, we were required not only to put a strong emphasis on everything that appealed to our own national pride, but an equally strong emphasis on that which tended to disparage other peoples. There was an intense cultivation of animosities and hatreds and enmities, together with a blind appeal to force that took possession of substantially all of the peoples of the earth. Of course, these ministered to the war spirit. They supplied the incentive for destruction, the motive for conquest. But in times of peace, these sentiments are not helps, but hindrances, and they are not. The The generally expressed desire of America first cannot be criticized. It is a perfectly correct aspiration for our people to cherish, but the problem which we have to solve is how to make America first. It cannot be done by the cultivation of national bigotry, arrogances, or selfishness.
Hatreds, jealousies, and suspicions will not be productive of any benefits in this direction. Here again, we must apply the rule of toleration. Because there are peoples whose ways are not our ways, and whose thoughts are not our thoughts, we are not warranted in drawing the conclusion that they are adding nothing to the sum of civilization. We can make little contribution to the welfare of humanity on the theory that we have a superior people and are far above others. We do not need to be too loud in the assertion of our own righteousness. It is true that we live under most favorable circumstances. But before we come to the final and irrevocable decision that we are better than everybody else, we need to consider what we might do if we had their provocations and their difficulties. We are not likely to improve our own condition or help humanity very much until we come to the sympathetic understanding that human nature is about the same everywhere, that it is rather evenly distributed over the surface of the earth, and that we are all united in a common brotherhood. We can only make America first in the true sense, which that means by cultivating a spirit of friendship and goodwill, by the exercise of the virtues of patience and forbearance, by being plenteous in mercy, and through progress at home and helpfulness abroad, standing as an example of real service to humanity.
Good morning. We are here this morning for a naturalization ceremony honoring and welcoming 24 candidates from 14 countries who have completed their naturalization journey. My name is Mary Kay Lanthier. I am a United States District Court Judge for the District of Vermont. Today is a very important and special day for each of our newest citizens and their families and friends. It's also a special day for those of us lucky enough to be a part of this. I would like to take a moment to introduce our special guests who are here with us today. They're kind of scattered about, so if you're able to stand, please do, or if you just want to give a wave so that people know where you are. From the United States Marshal Service, John Hall, who is the acting United States Marshal. The Honor Guard from the American Legion Post 31, Clayton Rockwell, Suzanne Williams, Steve Kipp, Bill Champagne, and Louis Rousseau. From the American Legion Auxiliary Unit 31, Catherine LaJoyce and Calvin Coolidge. From the Office of United States Senator Bernie Sanders, we have Ethan Avendano Lawrence, who is the outreach representative. And Robbie Safran, who's an intern. Amy Lee is with us here today. She is the office manager for the Office of United States Senator Peter Welch. And the birthday woman herself, Aileen Locks, who is the Director of Constituent Services. From the Office of U.S. Congresswoman Becca Ballant. From the United States Citizen and Immigration Services, we have Johnny Steinbaugh, who's an Immigration Services officer. Lauren Hibbert is here. She is the the Vermont Deputy Secretary of State, and Brian Mills is the Chief of Staff. And from the Coolidge Foundation, we have Amity Schlaze, who's the chairman, and Matthew Denhart, who's the president. Shauna Turner, Becky Mandeville, and Cindy Heeman are from the Vermont Passport Agency. Catherine and Willem Donahue from the Vermont League of Women Voters. Judy Barwood, Betsy McLean, Marcia Calloway, Polly Forcier, Deb Van Armen, and Alice Dantos from the Thomas Chittenden chapter of the Daughters of the American Revolution. Bill Wiles and Jennifer Coolidge Harville are our musical performers. Janie Grantham is the president of the Colonel Dames of America. I misspoke, the Colonial Dames of America, sorry about that. I would now ask Johnny Steinbach to come forward.
Good morning, Your Honor. It is my privilege to present to the court 24 applicants for naturalization in 14 countries. Each applicant has been examined by an officer of the USCIS, and each applicant has been found to be eligible for naturalization. USCIS now comes before the courts to move that all candidates be naturalized. Your Honor, there are also 13 applicants that have requested to have a name change be granted by the court. The service interposes no objections to these requests. Thank you, Your Honor.
The motion is granted, and upon administration of the oath, all requests for the change of name will be granted. I would now call up Matthew Denhart, president of the Coolidge Foundation.
Thank you, Your Honor, and thank you to all of you for joining us. And good morning. Welcome to Plymouth Notch, especially to our 24 candidates. Many of you arrived early this morning. We're up in the historic village, very eager, and one of you at least told me you've been waiting 20 years for this day. Well, here it is. I'll try not to be too much between you and that naturalization ceremony, or certificate, pardon me. But it is an honor to be with you as you join us, many of us, as citizens of the United States after you take your oath of allegiance. President Coolidge himself thought a lot about citizenship, and you got a good taste of that in the speech that we heard declaimed thank you by our students. He lies just down the road, buried in the Plymouth Cemetery among his family. I encourage you, after you tour the historic site, and you'll receive, when you come through the line, a ticket courtesy of the site, to tour it for free today. So we hope you take advantage of that. After you do so, you might go and visit his grave. It's very humble, very quiet. It evokes service and the sense of humility that he lived throughout his life. He, of course, can't be here himself, but his writings and his speeches let us know what he might have said if he were here. He would certainly say that U.S. citizenship is important. To Coolidge, citizenship wasn't just a mere legal classification. It was something much greater. He once said, American citizenship is a high estate. He who holds it is the peer of kings. To Coolidge, of course, American citizenship was a big honor. He had absolute respect for America's institutions and system of government and the values upon which our republic rests. He was very clear to point out time and time again, though, that citizenship is not just about getting things, whether that be a passport or the right to vote or whatever it might be. But rather, true citizenship is actually about service, serving America. He said the country cannot be run on the promise of what it will do for the people. The only motive to which they will continue ready to respond is the opportunity to do something for themselves. to achieve their own greatness, to work out their own destiny. Coolidge said about citizenship, it has been secured only by untold toil and effort. It will be maintained by no other method. To attempt to turn it into a thing of ease and inaction would be only to debase it. That's to say, being a citizen is hard. But immigrants throughout our history have stood up to the call. Indeed, from our country's earliest days, immigrants have proven themselves good citizens. Not just good citizens, but perhaps leading citizens. 8 of the 56 signers of the Declaration of Independence, in fact, were born in other countries. It may be surprising, but 4 of the first 6 Treasury secretaries were also foreign born, beginning, of course, with founding father Alexander Hamilton. Immigrants have been so central to the story of America that a future president, John F. Kennedy, titled a book on the subject, A Nation of Immigrants. And of course, immigrants serve America in many ways, but one way that I've studied, and I'd like to share just briefly with you, is their contributions to our economy. Immigrants come for many reasons, but one of those certainly is to work. Data show that the foreign-born are employed at higher rates, in fact, than native-born citizens. Over the past decade, I just looked this up and was astonished to see immigrants contributed about 40% of the total growth of America's labor force. If you look ahead, there are projections that are done, and over the next 20 years, immigrants and their children are expected to contribute all, 100% of the net growth of the U.S. workforce. That's to say, without immigrants and their children, we would have a shrinking labor force in the years to come. Speaking of immigrant children, what a gift they are to America. I like to call them America's most productive generation. If you look at the data, you see that the children of immigrants have the highest educational attainment, they have the highest earnings, they're the least likely to be in poverty, and I could go on and on. Going back to history, some of America's best known innovators have been immigrants. Alexander Graham Bell, Joseph Pulitzer, Nikola Tesla, Albert Einstein. Those are just a few examples. And the tradition continues today. Though immigrants account for less than 15% of the total population, studies show that as much as nearly half of Fortune 500 companies were founded by an immigrant or the child of an immigrant. And more than 40% of what we call unicorn startups, these are companies that grow very large to more than a $1 billion valuation, some 40% of those were started by immigrants, and 45% of leading AI startups, some of the hottest companies right now, were started by an immigrant. These, of course, are dramatic stories, but even on a smaller scale, immigrants proved to be entrepreneurial, starting businesses and creating jobs for their fellow Americans. But back to the tough job of citizenship. Coolidge, I think, to boil it down, really thought that citizenship was an exercise in self-government. He recognized that to self-govern, you must truly self-govern. That is to take care of oneself, first and foremost. Then to look to take care of one's family and one's community. And not just to look to some far-off group, some government far away perhaps, or even right near you, to take care of your problems. Coolidge once said that if the people here in Plymouth can't come to a solution, why should we automatically expect that a government, perhaps in Washington, would be able to solve that same problem? It might be that it's a hard problem, and it takes all of us to roll up our sleeves, find compromises, and find solutions. Of course, part of that means voting, taking part in elections. Coolidge said, persons who have the right to vote are trustees for the benefit of their country and their countrymen. They have no right to say they do not care. They must care. But what about when we don't always agree? Elections certainly are one way that we settle those differences, but I think a lot of the rancor that we feel in our national discourse today is because we've forgotten about that principle of toleration. Perhaps we don't practice it enough. Not just agreeing. We know that we won't all agree in a country with 335 million people, and we need outlets, abilities to discuss those differences, to make good arguments, both sides, all sides, to make their best arguments and see which ones win out. Really, in an election, when we vote, is the end of that process, not the beginning. That's why here at the Coolidge Foundation, we sponsor a debate program. We bring young people, such as the ones you heard from, to debate, actively debate, consider issues, work out differences, and then make up their own minds. We heard Toleration and Liberalism, an excerpt from it just a bit ago. There's another passage that wasn't part of that excerpt, and I'll read just a little bit because I think it gets to a key issue that speaks to us today. Coolidge said at that speech in Omaha that progress depends very largely on the encouragement of variety. Whatever tends to standardize the community, to establish fixed and rigid modes of thought, tends to fossilize society. If we all believed the same thing, thought the same thoughts, and applied the same valuations to all occurrences about us, we should reach a state of equilibrium closely akin to an intellectual and spiritual paralysis. It is the ferment of ideas, the clash of disagreeing judgments, the privilege of the individual to develop his own thoughts and shape his own character that makes progress possible. So at the end of the day, we all need to remember that we're working to build America together. We need all of us. By toleration, Coolidge meant respect for different kinds of good. And as we heard, no matter by what various crafts we came here, we're all now in the same boat. Sometimes here in Plymouth, with the rain like today, we think we might literally need a boat. But I guess we're not in a boat, but we are under the same tent. That's the tent of America, looking forward to our future together. We salute you, the 24 of you, and your families and your communities for supporting you. We thank you for making the choice to become American citizens, and we look forward to joining you in our country's future. Thank you very much. And it's now my honor to introduce our next speaker, Vermont's Deputy Secretary of State, Lauren Hibbert.
Good morning. It's truly a pleasure to be with all of you. Thank you for including us in your very important day. And I think I speak for all of us how touched we were to hear those senators speaking President Coolidge's really astounding words. As you come up to receive your certificates, you all will receive from me a copy of the Freedom and Unity comic book, which our office produced in conjunction really with the Center for Cartoon Studies. The reason why we like to give this to you today is to say thank you for becoming naturalized in the state of Vermont. Thank you for choosing Vermont as your first place of citizenship in America. We really appreciate that. We welcome you. We want you. Please consider staying with us. But also we give it to you because Vermont's motto is freedom and unity. That's the name of this comic. If you think about that motto, there's a tension there. We're all free, but we also are all unified. And it really speaks to President Coolidge's sentiment. We're all in the same boat or under the same tent. We have our freedom that is given to us. It's our God-given right to have freedom. But we also are unified and we need to work together. So I really do encourage you to register to vote. I mean, I think I'm compelled by my job to say vote, right? We oversee voting. But I would also encourage you to think of that sentiment of goodness and friendship and the way that we can all contribute to our civic life, which is our most important responsibility as part of a democracy. And we all do that now. You have been doing that before you received this certification. You've been part of a community. You've been part of a work environment. You've been part of a family, likely a community of faith, part of a town. But please dig into that. Think about how else you can contribute to the friendship and goodness that makes America what America is. Thank you again for including us, and I really look forward to celebrating with you.
It truly is an honor and a privilege to welcome all of you as you complete the process of becoming United States citizens. Oh dear. I stand, oh dear. I might need help.
Help's on its way.
Hello? I'm looking for a button. There's no button.
Blew a fuse.
Oh. I did more damage than I thought. Thank you. I think I'm back. I'm not going to as I said, it truly is an honor and a privilege to welcome all of you as you complete the process of becoming United States citizens. I stand here today as the granddaughter of immigrants from Canada. My mother's parents came from Nova Scotia with the hope of finding work in the slate quarries of the western part of Rutland County. My grandmother never became a citizen, but my grandfather did. He was in the same place as you are today. 2 generations later, through the hard work of my grandparents and my parents, I have the privilege of presiding over this ceremony. My grandfather became a citizen before I was born, and I regret never having the opportunity to talk to him about the process and what it meant to him. When I was in elementary school, though, I had 2 close friends whose mothers were naturalized. One had been a citizen of Japan, and one had been a citizen of the Netherlands. It was over 40 years ago, and I can still remember the special feeling that existed on that day, even though I had nothing to do with it. I didn't understand what it was all about. To me, these 2 women were simply my friends' moms. They went on school trips with us, they fed us when we were at their homes, they participated in school fundraisers, they worked in the community. We recently asked one of those mothers what she remembered about the process now over 40 years ago. She recalled it as being a grueling and difficult process. She remembered the study sessions with another young single mother going through the process. She recalled working incredibly hard each step. She also remembered being really nervous at the ceremony. And I am here to tell you, relax. Your hard work is all over. This is the fun part. Looking back, I think what struck me most was when I was a child, these 2 women, as were my grandparents, were simply members of the community. They, like you, had woven their lives into the fabric of the community, working, raising families. What I failed to recognize was the extraordinary amount of work that they were doing, mostly out of sight of that community. I was too young to appreciate the path that they were taking. While I and their daughters were lucky enough to have the easy path to citizenship, we were born here, they had to work hard to obtain it. I am sure that there are countless members of your community who appreciate all that you already do, but don't quite know the work that you are putting into this process. And I want to stop here and acknowledge the tremendous amount of work and emotional energy that each of you has invested in order to be here today. Each of you are here at the end of a long and personal journey, none the same. Each of you have come with your own challenges and your own accomplishments. You are from 14 countries across the globe: Australia, Bhutan, Canada, Congo, Brazzaville, Congo, Kinshasa, Germany, Nepal, Iceland, Jamaica, the Philippines, Senegal, Somalia, Thailand, and Vietnam. And despite your distinct journeys from these 14 different countries, the 24 of you have ended up here, under this tent, in this very beautiful site and on this day, because of your common desire and commitment to become citizens of the United States, to become Americans. Your stories, like my grandparents' story, collectively are the American story. America exists because individuals and families come to this country in the hope of pursuing our ideals, that all individuals are created equal, that all individuals are equal under the law, that all have the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. This is the story of our country. It was the story at the beginning of this great nation. It has been the story throughout our history, and it remains the story today. As new citizens, you now enjoy the rights of this country. Freedom to speak, freedom to worship in the way you choose, freedom to travel, freedom to assemble, freedom to vote, to run for office. You have the right to a free press, which means that the government cannot limit what is said or decide how the news will be covered. These are the powerful rights that define America. With those rights, however, also comes responsibility. Democracy is fragile. This experiment that is America requires constant vigilance to protect its ideals. Franklin Delano Roosevelt once said words to the effect that the real safeguard of democracy is education. I would encourage each of you to be an informed citizen, an educated citizen, a responsible citizen. Take an active role in your community, whether it's attending the school board meetings or select board meetings, whether it's becoming a member of those, taking part in your community's rec center, taking an active role in your children's school. Vote in every election, run for office. Encourage others around you to do the same. Bring your life experiences and your wisdom to this community. And as you bring your own stories and wisdom, listen to the wisdom and stories of those around you. This is what makes America great. America has been described as a melting pot. And while I think that is an apt description, I have been struck by the comparison made by President Jimmy Carter. He said, quote, "We have become not a melting pot, but a beautiful mosaic. Different people, different beliefs, different yearnings, different hopes, different dreams," unquote. The beauty of that mosaic, like the beauty of our country, exists because of the contrasts that exist, the harmonies, each piece of the mosaic bringing out the best in those around it. Americans are those pieces in the mosaic, with each of us cemented to the mosaic's base, bound together by the core beliefs of America. We, the people. You are now we, the people. We are a more perfect union for you having joined it. Congratulations and welcome. I'm now going to invite Shara to the podium for the roll call for the oath.
I'm very afraid to touch the microphone now. When your name is called, please stand and remain standing. Marika Nicola Plummer. Saroj Kormoka Sunmore. Philip Nicholas Darman. Bruce Edward Thompson. Mary Taze Hart. Hong Kong Tran. Suleiman Abdimajid Abdihamid. Maget Majid Faye. Suk Rai. Angel Lee Allard. Ron Bahadur Magar. Liza Kamba Mamba. Furba Galzin Sherpa. Praparat Connolly. Sai Trun Zephyr. Jonathan Chen Zion. Josephine Munduti. Olafor Burgesson. Namo Chaisri Tolson. Chanderlin Fred Musua. Mila Musua. Karen Ann Charles. Nina Burgett Weiss Hansen. Pabitra Pradhan. Please raise your right hand.
Please repeat after me. I hereby declare, on oath, that I absolutely and entirely, renounce and abjure, all allegiance and fidelity, to any foreign prince, potentate, state or sovereignty, of whom or which I have heretofore been a subject or citizen, that I will support and defend the Constitution and laws of the United States of America, against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same, that I will bear arms on behalf of the United States when required by the law, that I will perform non-combatant service in the armed forces of the United States when required by the law, that I will perform work of national importance under civilian direction when required by the law, and that I take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion. So help me God. Congratulations. I'm going to ask that you be seated. We're now going to present the certificates. The
a very exciting part of the program where we ask people to kind of move around a little bit, but this is where our new citizens will get their very important certificate of naturalization. And so at this time, I'd like to invite Judge Lanthier, our U.S. Marshal, our DAR, the Auxiliary, the League of Women Voters, the Congressional Delegation, the Vermont Secretary of State, and anyone else who's planning on being in our receiving line. You can come forward and join us at the podium here. We'll just take a minute to get kind of set up here. Come on forward, yep, right in front of the podium. It's a lot of coordinating. Okay, and this time when your name is called, please come forward and we'll have you start down at this end of the line and you're going to make your way down to the judge who's going to hand you your certificate. Family and friends, feel free to clap and cheer, but just remember there is more time after the ceremony to take photos. Marika Nicola Plummer, formerly of Jamaica. Saroj Kormoka Sunwar, formerly of Nepal. Philip Nicholas Darman, formerly of Australia. Bruce Edward Thompson, formerly of Canada. Mary Taze Hart, formerly of the Philippines. Hung Cong Tran, formerly of Vietnam. Suleiman Abdimajid Abdihamid, formerly of Somalia. Maguette Majid Faye, formerly of Senegal. We have a special guest today. This dragonfly has decided to join us. Suk Rai, formerly of Bhutan. Angel Lee Allard, formerly of Canada. Ron Bahadur Magar, formerly of Bhutan. Liza Kamba Mamba, formerly of Congo Kinshasa. Furba Galzin Sherpa, formerly of Nepal. Pratharat Connolly, formerly of Thailand. Sai Tran Zephyr, formerly of Vietnam. Jonathan Chen Zion, formerly of Germany. I have to go a certain order so that the certificates don't get mixed up. So that's why there's a delay sometimes, just so you know. Josephine Munduti, formerly of Congo Brazzaville. Olafur Bergeson, formerly of Iceland. Namo Chaisri Tulsin, formerly of Thailand. Chanderlin Fred Musua, formerly of Congo Brazzaville. Mila Musua, formerly of Congo Brazzaville. Karen Ann Charles, formerly of Canada. Nina Birgit Weiss Hansen, formerly of Canada. Pavitra Pradhan, formerly of Bhutan. Congratulations to all of our new citizens. Who helped with our presentation of certificates. You can now be seated and we'll move on to our musical selections. I look forward to this every year when I come to Calvin Coolidge Homestead. This is
Park. The Coolidge Senators, I know you all, will assist in this endeavor. Cooper, are you listening? There's a feeling comes a stealing, and it sets my brain a-reeling when I listen to the music of a military band. Any tune like Yankee Doodle simply sets me off my noodle. It's that patriotic something that no one can understand. Red, white, and blue, we are for you. Honest, your grand old flag. Are you ready? You're a grand old flag, you're a high-flying flag, and forever peace may you wave. You're the emblem of the land I love, the home of the free and the brave. Every heart beats true for the red, white, and blue, where there's never a boast or brag. Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountains' majesty, above the fruited plain. America, God shed his grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood, from sea to shining sea. Now, there's a second verse to that I like even better. Oh, beautiful for pilgrim pilgrim's feet, whose stern impassioned stress a thoroughfare for freedom beat across the wilderness. America, America, God mend thine every flaw. Confirm thy soul in self-control, thy liberty in law. When the storm clouds gather far across the seas, let us pledge allegiance to a land that's free. Let us all be faithful to a land so rare, as we raise our voices in a solemn prayer. God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. Big finish! God bless America, my home, sweet home.
Thank you, USA!
All right. For those who are able to stand, we would ask you to stand. We're going to be led by the Pledge of Allegiance by John Hall from the United States Marshal Service.
Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You may be seated. So in closing, many thanks to the Calvin Coolidge Presidential Foundation for hosting the ceremony, with a special thank you to Matthew Denhart and Tammy Bowen for coordinating all of the details with the court. Thank you to the Coolidge Senator students for your participation in the ceremony. Special thanks to all of our guests who participated in the ceremony today. The Vermont Secretary of State's office and the Vermont League of Women Voters are present to assist our new citizens and guests with the process of voter registration. Voting in Vermont brochures are available in English, Nepali, Chinese, Somali, and Swahili. Representatives from the Vermont Passport Agency are present today to assist new citizens with questions about obtaining a U.S. passport. They're in the back waving their hands. Happy to talk to anybody. New citizens and guests are welcome to stay after the ceremony to take photos. The deputy clerk is happy, others are happy. Please feel free to stay and take photos. And please join us for refreshments sponsored by the Colonial Dames of America.
At this time, I'd ask you to stand while the colors are retired.
Oh. Two. Prepare to retrieve colors. Retreat.
Court is adjourned. Congratulations, everyone.